Welcome to Travels in Britain. On this episode, we're exploring the stunning spa city of Bath, steeped in Roman history, Georgian architecture, and oodles of culture. So join us as we explore Bath. Bath is most famous for its Roman connections and its Georgian architecture. The city was first established as a spa with the Latin name Aquae Solis, meaning the waters of solace, by the Romans sometime in the year 60 AD, about 20 years after they had arrived in Britain. They built the baths and a temple on the surrounding hills in the valley of the River Avon. The Romans built Bath up into a popular place to visit for the supposed healing properties of the hot springs beneath the city. Bath also has a royal connection when English King Edgar was crowned King of England at Bath Abbey in 973. Later on in history, it became popular again as a spa town during the Georgian era, which led to a major expansion that left a heritage of beautiful Georgian architecture crafted from golden Bath stone. The Roman baths were also rediscovered during the Georgian era, and they were turned into one of Britain's first tourist attractions. The most famous attraction in Bath is, of course, the Roman bath ruins. The attraction that encompasses the Roman baths is itself a Georgian creation, when the baths were rediscovered and given a protective enclosure to attract the first tourists to Bath. These ruins are much more substantial than you usually find at Britain's other Roman ruins, though it can be difficult to tell the difference between the Roman ruins and the later Georgian additions that were built on top. The baths are rich in history. You're surrounded by it. From Roman statues and carvings to Roman toilets and artifacts, there's plenty to see. The green turquoise waters in the center of the baths are famous the world over, but you're advised not to touch them as the water is not safe to touch. The proctors informed us that pigeon droppings were a health hazard. There is much to see and do at the Roman baths, and we recommend spending at least a couple of hours exploring everything there is to see. The major problem that you'll encounter is that this is a very popular tourist attraction, and you'll be sharing it with tourists from all over the world. You may have to stand in line to get in, so we recommend going early in case you have to wait in line for a few hours. We would not recommend visiting with a young toddler like we did. You're not allowed to take your strollers into the ruins, but they do provide wraps so moms can carry their toddlers instead. If you do let them walk around, just remember to keep their fingers out of the waters and off the artifacts. If you fancy a spot of lunch, then go into the adjacent pump room restaurant where you can get a traditional English tea or lunch in a classical Georgian setting. If you're particularly brave, you can try drinking the bath waters at the tap located in the room. It has a patina of sulfur if you're curious and not brave enough to try it. Located across the courtyard from the Roman ruins, Bath Abbey is a stunning English cathedral. It's a majestic cathedral in the English tradition. Take particular note of the beautiful stained glass windows all throughout. Bath Abbey hosted the crowning of King Edgar of England back in 973, but that's the end of its royal connections. The Abbey is free to enter and explore on your own, and if you're in Bath on a weekend, definitely take in a choral evensong service. If you're looking for a fun night out while you're in Bath, we recommend the Bazaar Bath Walking Tour, an irreverent look at the city. Bazaar Bath is very popular with tourists, and it departs every evening from March to October in front of the Huntsman Inn pub. It's not a history walk, and you won't learn much about the culture of Bath, something your host for the evening will make very clear. The walking tour is a mixture of comedy, magic, and good old British fun. It can be cheesy at times, but that is its charm. There's a fair bit of walking and a large flight of stairs, which was not ideal for our stroller, but other than that, it's a pretty flat and easygoing walk. We would recommend wearing comfortable shoes and bringing along a sweater. The breeze of the river can get quite cool after the sun goes down, even in the summer. You'll get to see most of Bath City Center while it's got a golden glow from the setting sun, so it's a great way to see the city and orient yourself. If you'd like to see some other walking tours, there's also a ghost-themed walking tour, a history-themed walking tour, and also the mayor of Bath runs his own walking tours that show you around the city center.
So we go lovely onto the leg, either leg. Excellent stuff. Twice. Once more around the back. You are doing well, Lee. We're going to speed up now. It's going to get more difficult. Here we go. Get ready.
Bath exists because of its location next to the Avon River, and the city takes well advantage of this in the modern day. There's a lovely walkway on both sides of the river and ample crossings for you to enjoy. If you want to go for a nice stroll, definitely take in the river walks. If you want to see more of Bath and the surrounding countryside, take in a cruise down the Avon River with Pulteney Cruises, which offers several hourly tours up the Avon River. The Avon River is calm, and as you sail slowly up the river, you'll encounter locals and lovers out for a punt on the river. It's a lot of fun to peer into the back gardens of Bath and then enjoy the scenery of the surrounding countryside. You also get some stunning vistas of the hills surrounding Bath, topped with their beautiful Georgian buildings. The cruise lasts about an hour, and you're returned back to where you started in time for dinner. There's helpful commentary along the way from the captain, who explains everything you're going to see as you go along. It's a nice, relaxing way to end the day in Bath. No visit to Bath is complete without a stop at the Royal Crescent, the famous row of Georgian houses built with a beautiful curve that seems to stretch on into infinity. There's a huge green park in front of the house where you can have a rest or sun yourself, as the locals do. The houses have been home to various notable people over the last 200 years. While changes have been made to the interiors, the facades remain much as they were when they were built. The Royal Crescent now includes a hotel and museum, with some of the houses being converted into flats and offices. The buildings have been used as a location for several films and television programs. It's a very familiar scene, and it's comforting to finally be able to see it in person. There's a great museum in the first house on the Crescent called Number 1 Royal Crescent. It's a house that's laid out and decorated as if it were the Georgian times, the very definition of a period house. There's many fine rooms to explore, and there are volunteers in each room who will fill you in on the historical background. Sally Lunn's is famous for their delicious sweet rolls. Sally Lunn was a French Huguenot who settled in Bath after she fled France in the 1600s. She introduced a local baker to the light sweet breads from her homeland, and very quickly her buns became famous. Today, Sally Lunn's is famous as a restaurant and a living museum. The building is topsy-turvy. It's a very old house that's been converted over the years to become a restaurant. Rather than a main dining room, there's many rooms for dining, all with crooked walls and interesting hangings all throughout. Eating at Sally Lunn's is an admittedly pretty touristy thing to do, and you can have trouble finding a table on a busy night due to its popularity. If you get tired of walking, consider Bike in Bath. Similar to London's bike scheme, you can rent a bike for a few hours and return it to any of the other docking stations throughout the city. See the Bath Visitor Centre next to Bath Abbey for information on rental. If you're looking for travel advice while you're in Bath, definitely stop into the Visit Bath Visitor Center located next to Bath Abbey, where they can give you local travel advice, book tickets, and arrange lodging for your visit. Bath also has great shopping, including many of the greatest stores you'll find in London. Southgate has many of the big brands, and if you want to avoid the shopping crowds in London, they have all the same stores here. If you're in Bath with children, then you must stop by the Royal Victoria Park, located just off the city centre. It's a massive park that's not unlike the big parks you'll find in London. It's a great place to give kids a chance to stretch their legs and play on child-friendly playground equipment. It can be pretty busy on the weekends, but there's plenty for kids to do and plenty of things for them to play on. There are also ample places for mom and dad to sit and have a rest, visit with locals, get a refreshing ice cream from the vending van, and enjoy a Sunday being a temporary local. If you're a Jane Austen fan, then the Jane Austen Centre is a must-see attraction. Located in a restored Georgian building, the Jane Austen Centre seeks to explore the Regency era as she experienced it. Jane had a strong connection with Bath and set several of her novels in the city. The entire experience is geared towards the Regency era, and the employees are in period costume and even talk with period language. There's a short lecture on Jane's connection to the city, and then you're led down to the basement where there's a Regency museum that explores the time period. The highlight of a visit here is the Regency Tea Room, which features an authentic Regency tea service. After you're done exploring Bath for the day, visit a local grocery store, pack a picnic, and head over to the Parade Gardens, a beautifully set paid public garden next to the river. There you'll find locals enjoying the sun, a cup of tea, and music in the pavilion. Thank you for exploring Bath with us, and join us in the next episode as we go on to explore Greater Somerset.